Let me turn my light off. 2017 F450, 6.7. Throwing the P0087 code. And talking with some diesel buddies, mechanics. They're telling me high pressure fuel pump, more than likely. Probably so, but thought that I would go ahead and do a couple of tests to find out if that's exactly what it is. So after the research that I did and talking to the buddies, the driver's side fuel rail would need to be replaced. So what I'm trying to show you right now is that right there, that fuel pressure regulator. They're saying to, hang on, I'm trying to point at it, but I'm zoomed in too far. They're saying this guy right here, and it's got a little connector on it, and it comes in up top. Where is it? There it is. I got it unplugged right now. So they're saying to inspect that, and I don't know, that part's like $200. The whole fuel rail with new sensor and new regulator, I think it was like $500 from Ford. So I thought, well, since I'm gonna have to replace it if I do a high pressure oil pump or fuel pump anyways, I might as well just go ahead and put a new one on there, go test it, and when I get this one here pulled, I'm going to inspect that regulator, see if it's got any rust in it, any kind of contamination. Hopefully no metal shavings. I don't want no disco party going on in here. But you know, it is what it is. I guess that if it is the high pressure fuel pump, then we're gonna be upgrading to that DSR, I believe it's called, 30% over. Maybe go ahead and throw some bigger injectors in there, make her eat. Anyways, so I came in from the fender well, took the wheel off, she's sitting over there, and came in here because everybody coming in underneath the hood looked like a pain. And I've got all my lines disconnected. Let's see if you can see them. Right up in there, they're all disconnected. I'm fixing to take the bolts out of the rail, pull that regulator off, do some inspecting, and then hopefully everything's clear. And I've got a rail or a fuel pressure regulator failure or a pressure sensor failure. We'll slap the new one on, go make some test hits, see if it's fixed, and if not, gonna be ordering the pump. So I'll be back, show y'all what we're gonna see. All right, got the rail out. This doesn't have any rust on it, doesn't show any signs of water being in it. It was pretty clean. It had a little bit of stuff on here, but I don't think that it was the metal shavings. Not positive though, but went ahead and took this nut off. It was kind of a pain. Little clip goes right there, I believe it is. No, that's the O-ring. So it's right here. So take the O-ring off, take the clip out. Doesn't do anything at all. I thought maybe it came apart. It doesn't. So no point in taking the nut off. Looked up in there. Didn't see any signs of any contamination, no metal shavings, no disco party here, hopefully. Fuel pressure sensor, I haven't cleaned it off. See if we can get a zoom in there or a focus. I see that little black dot up there about 12 o'clock. Not really sure what that is. It came off, but anyways. So I think we're gonna try a new rail. Squirted some parts cleaner in here and dumped it on this rag, shined a light in it, and I don't see any kind of signs of metal shavings or anything, so I don't think we're having a party tonight. I don't like that party. So I'm gonna get the new rail, find the torque specs on this, because it kind of seems like the rail didn't come with the regulator, or the regulator tightened down. So I'm gonna Google that, put that back in place, put everything back in, and go do some testing, and hope she's good to go. So see y'all in a minute. Okay, I got the new rail and the vise, and this nut here is tight. So I don't really have a way of doing torque specs on that thing, but I felt of it with the wrench and it felt pretty tight. I couldn't get it to budge. So we're gonna roll with it. Hopefully it's torqued down to specs from the factory. So let's get this bad boy in. Okay, a little food for thought. That bolt hole right there in the center, couldn't get the bolt in, so I figured out if you'll actually put the fuel lines, get them started, and start snugging them down a little bit, it'll lift the rail up and line that hole up there for to get your 2 mounting bolts in. So just to save you a little time, get them lines started, get that rail up there where it goes, and then put your mounting bolts in, and then snug everything down. Let's see where we at. There we are. Okay, so one other thing I wanted to tell you. Before you tighten the return lines, the fuel lines, with the 17mm wrench, make sure you put your bolts in, tighten them down, and then snug down, torque down your fuel lines. That way that rail doesn't bend out of there and try to tweak one of your fuel lines and break it or bend it, because that wouldn't be good. So got my bolts torqued down now, so now I'm fixing to get the 17 and tighten down the fuel lines, and then hook up my 2 sensors, 2 wires, plugs, and then snap all this back together and we'll make a hit. All right, so we got the weight loss program on this truck, and I don't have a forward or any type of scan tool, so I use part of my weight loss setup to do some diagnostics. So kind of waiting on temperature to get up here. Gonna make a test hit, scan it. I'll show you the before and after results. Cross fingers, this fixes it. Just a FYI, after installing the rail back on place, I did 4 fuel pump cycles. Just get all the air out of the system, and it did crank over for, I don't know, about 10-15 seconds. But I'm gonna drive a little bit, make sure I get all the air out of the system, and then make a hit, and we'll let you know the results. So y'all cross your fingers for me. Yeah. So there's one more thing I wanted to add. During this process of pretty much determining what's going on, my fuel cap, when you would remove it, the feeler neck, it sounded like a pressure, but it was actually a suction whenever you crack it open. Come to find out, there's 2 vents on top of your fuel pump, or your fuel tank, I'm sorry, that can get stopped up. The holes that are in them are very, very, very small. So what I did was I just removed one of those caps, and if it is stopped up, it will actually cause your fuel tank to implode. And when this happens, it takes where your fuel pump is resting in the bottom of your tank, it'll actually start sucking it up and raising it at the top. And I have seen, not physically, but online, that some people's fuel pump modules actually broke off and was laying there sideways and stuff. So just another thing to look for if you're having some issues with fueling or this code. Make sure that your fuel tank is not imploding and those tubes aren't stopped up. So, all right, so catch y'all up to speed. It's been about 3 weeks I've been troubleshooting this truck. Finally figured out the issue, so I want to walk you through it. Air dog didn't fix it. Tried a couple of symptoms to try to determine what's going on, if it is the air dog or not. So I put a pressure gauge on the air dog, and it wouldn't exceed 20 psi. Forward once, I'm kind of getting mixed numbers here, anywhere from 55 to 65 psi, which it would not do. I kinked the exit line from the air dog to the supply line to the engine, and pressure skyrocketed. Thought, okay, well, it's not the air dog causing the issue. I've got something going on further forward, maybe a regulator of some sort up in the engine, whatever. I don't know the Ford factory fuel system. I mean, I kind of understand it, but didn't know exact details on how it all works. So I then kinked my venturi line, which was kind of new to me. I didn't realize this thing had a venturi line. I understand how venturi works, but when that's kinked, fuel pressure skyrocketed. I said, okay, so something's going on with the venturi. Called my supply company, found out they have a module you can buy that is pretty much a device if you want to get rid of your factory internal fuel pump and go with the external fuel pump like I was doing. It comes with just this module that is pretty much just a blank system, has a venturi installed, has the lines, everything. It really simplifies, if you go with the air dog setup, it simplifies you from having to modify your factory module to run the air dog. Okay, so that kit was 2 weeks out, 2 weeks backward. I think it was like $250. Would have been cool, but I didn't have time for that. So I went back with OEM fuel pump, which comes with a brand new module and everything from Ford. Threw that in the tank. Left the tank kind of, I don't know, 6-8 inches below the truck where I could hook up all the lines and everything. Did some key cycles, got the system, all the air out of the system and everything, and boom, this truck fires up, pressure looks good, everything. So we went ahead, mounted the fuel tank, went and made some hits, problem solved. No more issues. In fact, the 5 years I've owned this truck, it is running better than it ever has. So once I purchased this new fuel pump module, the man for the parts counter that I ordered or I purchased the pump from told me, oh yeah, you know, the venturi, sometimes it's got some kind of valve or something in it, and sometimes it can get some trash in it. And pretty much was just telling me, you know, if that valve gets trash in it, it allows the fuel to bypass and go back to my tank. So I'm leaving pressurized fuel from the tank up to roughly around the front of the tank, circulating back into the tank. So there's all my volume. Didn't get any more codes, so just a little heads up, little pointer, whatever, food for thought. If your truck starts throwing the P0087 code, don't jump to conclusion thinking it's your high pressure fuel pump. Go ahead and do some tests, make sure it's not the low pressure fuel pump, because like me, I had a pretty good idea, I guess, gut feeling that it was not my high pressure pump. Now, if it was, fine. I didn't mind spending the money. I was gonna go to the DCR pump. You know, what's like 30% more fuel. Don't have to worry about, you know, the OEM CP4 pump going out by going that route. But I didn't want to spend $4,000 to $8,000 on doing all that upgrade, and I would have had the exact same result. I would have through the same code, because that venturi still would have failed, and then I'd have been mad. So I hope this video helps y'all. Not saying it's gonna fix all y'all's problems, but if you can get a pressure gauge on your system, you definitely need to make sure you've got around the 55 to 65 PSI on your low fuel pressure side, which you can hook a scanner up to it, and it'll say low pressure fuel, LPF. It'll say you know, roughly what its demand and what it's actually sending. that pressure is down, shoot for that. Try to fix that solution before you start heading towards the high pressure pump. So anyways, guys, this hopefully I didn't stretch this thing out too far. I was kind of wanting to keep it kind of simple, which is why I didn't video the whole process of, you know, doing all this stuff. But hopefully it helps you out. If it did, shoot me a like, share, subscribe. We got a lot more content coming up soon. Yeah, so y'all have a good one.